What's up, car family? How's everybody doing today? Happy Sunday. Gonna do a few recaps today. I'm gonna break the card show up into several different videos. I don't know if I'll post them all today. We had a great time at the show, and I think my collecting habits are taking a turn. So all I could see yesterday was vintage. I didn't do too great in the 10-cent bins, and I just start. I think I'm going to change my direction a little bit, but I'll talk about that in a later video. So we'll go over some of these older pickups that I got. I did do some Cowboys pickups. This stuff was cheap, inexpensive. These are all 69 tops. There's a Don Meredith, a Lance Rentzel. He was a great wide receiver for Dallas in the late 60s, early 70s. Came over from, I believe came over from San Diego. No, maybe he ended up in San Diego. Or maybe I'm thinking of Lance Allworth. Anyhow, as you can see, and hell, he was over 1,000 yards in 68. There's a Hall of Famer, Bob Hayes, known as Bullet Bob Hayes. At that time, he was the fastest man, known as the fastest man in the world, the fastest human, as you can see. Burner, great all-time cowboy. Another great all-time cowboy and another Hall of Famer, Bob Lilly. Defensive tackle, perennial All-Pro, Hall of Famer, Ring of Honor. These are all, like I say, 69s. I don't know if Chuck Howley got in the Hall of Fame or not. He's a great Cowboys linebacker. This guy had the distinction of being one of the, I think he's the only player on a losing team to ever win Super Bowl MVP. And that was the year that Dallas lost to the Colts in the Super Bowl. I think they lost 16-13, and Howley was the MVP. So that's the 69s. Pick those up. Cowboys. I got some baseball too. I did snag, this is a 74 tops Dwight Evans, and this card's really clean. I don't know that I necessarily if this is vintage, but this was in the 10-cent bin, so I grabbed it. This can't be too far removed, maybe a second or third year card, but great outfielder for the Red Sox in the 70s and early 80s. Picked up and I'm just learning a lot of the vintage stuff. I had some vintage stuff when I was younger, but no longer. This is 72 Willie Mays. It's not in perfect condition, as you can see. I didn't pay a lot for it. I figured, this was a good way for me to kind of get my foot in the door with the vintage stuff. With the older stuff, just slowly start picking up some lower end stuff and, getting to understand it. It's kind of how I worked my way back into the hobby. And I really want to start, getting more information and in tune with the history. Baseball cards are my roots. That's where I originated with collecting when I was a kid. And I kind of want to get back to that. This is a 71 Doc Ellis. Pepino Man told me that this set is called Black Beauties, and you can see why. They're gorgeous cards, all black, and this one's in pretty good condition. And again, I didn't pay. I believe I paid $1 for this, but with the conversation with Pepino over the past few days, talking about Doc Ellis and the story, thought it was an interesting pickup, and that's kind of where I want to go with my collection. Got also a 71 Willie Stargell. Great slugger for the Pirates. I have some sort of fondness for the Pirates. I'm not sure. There's a 69 Don Sutton. Again, I didn't pay much for this. Pretty sure Sutton was a 300-game winner, which would lead me to believe he's probably in the Hall of Fame. I like these leaders cards. You can get them relatively cheap. This is also a This is also a 69. You can get them pretty cheap, and you know, a lot of times got some cool players on them. This is 68 batting leaders: Pete Rose, Matty, and Felipe Alou. Of course, got all these other great names on the back. Got a 68 Phil Niekro. Could be wrong, but I think Phil Niekro was another 300 game winner. Might be wrong about that. And that's what I need to learn my history. Got a 66 Clete Boyer. Didn't pay much for this. Thought it was a clean looking card. Third baseman for the Yankees. 65. This is the strikeout leaders for 1964. Bob Veal, Bob Gibson, and Don Drysdale. That's why I wanted to snag that. Also picked up a 65 Jesus Alou. I'm a big Giants fan, in case anybody doesn't know that. Pretty clean card. Again, I don't think I paid much for this. Couple more cards. 64 Willie McCovey. Really an underrated dude in the hobby. I don't think that's a crease in the card. I think that's his face. Really an underrated dude in the hobby. 500 homer guy. Legendary Giants player. This is pretty early in his career. Decent card. Obviously not perfect. Last but not least, I got a 63. And again, with these leaders cards, I like them. And this one is especially packed with the names. Was the 62 home run leaders. So you got Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Frank Robinson, Ernie Banks, and Orlando Cepeda. So thought that was a really cool card. It's kind of the direction I'm going to go. I'm still going to do my 90s stuff, but like I say, I'll talk about that in a later video. I'll have more later. Appreciate y'all watching. Keep it real. I'm out.